Blockbuster announcements are coming. This is what Games Workshop are stating over on their article for the big preview show. This should be now, I say should be, I said this last time, this should be the last preview show of the year. So as we always do, let's jump in and let's go over my hopes and predictions. Now, when it comes to reveal events, I have to say, even though I absolutely love models, I do, you know me, right? Space Marine models, stuff like that, I love it. This is a type of reveal show that excites me the most. It's a Black Library reveal show. The reason why it excites me, yes, we will get models, which we'll discuss in a second, but it's all about lore. Books, lore, the moving potentially the plot forward, learning about characters, new characters, stuff like that. This is what I love about Warhammer. It's all about the lore. So when we have these shows, I personally think it's a big thing, especially with the current situation that we're having at the moment with all the rumors about the Lion, the Rock being besieged, Azrael, Dante, all the mad stuff with Arcs of Omen. I think that this could be an actual big reveal show. So I think the best place to start is, of course, with what's ending or potentially ending next year. And that is going to be the Siege of Terror, aka the Horus Heresy. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'll put the image up in the background right now. We already have the name of one of the last books. It's by Dan Abner. It's called The End and the Death, Volume 1. I do think that at this show, we're probably going to get the second book of that series, because again, this is Volume 1, and that is going to end it off. A lot of people don't understand that since Dan Abner started it, Dan Abner is also going to finish the Horus Heresy. It's poetic, right? It's justice for Dan Abner. Plus, it's Dan bloody Abner, right? He writes masterpieces, and I'm sure this is going to be no different. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to rename it, because like I said, this one is called The End and the Death, Volume 1. So maybe it's going to be The End and the Death, Volume 2. I predict that the artwork is probably going to show off the Emperor or Horus and the Emperor fighting each other. Something to do with the Vengeful Spirit. Something to do with the end of the series. Because like I said, we're coming to the end of that now, which really now means what is next after that. Now, I have heard rumors, Alex, again, from the Hours Heresy podcast. I always get that name wrong. He said that Gray McNeil apparently is going to talk about a novella for the Siege of Terror series, so we'll probably get something like that announced from Graham. I don't know who's it going to be about, what's it going to be about. Maybe it's something about the Custodians. We haven't really seen that much Custodian action during the Siege of Terror, and me being a huge Valdor fan, I'm actually quite sad. Yes, we've seen Valdor in some instances, but I wanted more Valdor. I want Valdor to fight a Primarch. Who else wants Valdor to fight a Primarch? Please, Dan, let Valdor fight a Primarch in some of these last books. I'm sure it will be absolutely bloody epic. Now, a big question for me is, what happens when we get to the end of this Horus Heresy, the Siege of Terror series? If you look at this as like a product from Games Workshop, the Horus Heresy, the Siege of Terror, whatever you want to call it, is the whale. It is the main chunk of meat which Games Workshop have been putting out, Black Library have been putting out, and it's been selling fantastically well. That is now coming to an end. So what comes after that? I have a little prediction. I think the big prediction is we may get the announcement of the next big series. I know a lot of people, and they actually said it themselves, it was like the Dawn of Fire was supposed to be that next big series, but as I've stated so many times, that has been kind of hit and miss for me. Some of the books in there, well, most of the books in there, haven't come out swinging like the Horus Heresy has. And the first book was okay, the latter books, they've just been not fun for me anyway. I'm not too sure about you, but I'm hoping that when it comes to this next big announcement, maybe they'll say, right, we've finished with the Horus Heresy, we are now moving on to the Scouring, because the Scouring is where we get a lot of stuff happen. We have the formation of the chapters, Gilliman nearly comes to blows with Rogel Dawn, the Lion returns to Caliban, and all that happens. Hey, the Lion returns to Caliban, and the Lion returns the same year. Maybe, you know, what are the chances of that? We have the Iron Cage, for those people who believe that actually happened. You know, it's just chaos propaganda. You know, there's a lot of big events that happen during the Scout. They, like, the traitors themselves being pushed back into the Eye of Terror, and then their infighting begins. I would love to see that, you know, in the books, and like these big writers like Chris Ray, Aaron, and Dan tell the tales of this epic time that is set when the Emperor is no longer leading everyone. Now, moving on to the 40k hopes and predictions, and there is so much here, and I'm just going to start this and just say it. I'm just going to say it right at the start because this is what I want more than anything. I want Pandemonium. That is the Beckwin book number 3. For those of you who read number 2 and the ending that was in number 2, I'm not going to spoil it, you know, the Yellow King's name apparently was revealed. We all know who it is, the people who have read it. We all can't wait for the 3rd book in that series. Pandemonium is the name. Dan Abnett said that. Are we going to get that revealed? Are we going to have that spoken about? My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. My mind is saying no because, of course, Dan Abnett is working on the Siege books, and maybe he hasn't had a lot of time to work on that book. Maybe Dan Abnett is like a machine, and he's working double as fast, and he's writing both at the same time. Who the hell bloody knows? But if I wanted a book to be announced at this event, it would definitely be 110% that bloody book. I definitely think we will be getting some more Dawn of Fire books. As I stated before, that series hasn't really caught me, hasn't really catched me. So hopefully they can produce a book which really lights the flame in me again and gets me back into that series, because so far it has been kind of lackluster in its ability to capture me and keep me anticipating that next big book. And it should, because it's all about the lore which is happening right now. Like, as I mentioned, like, Arcs of Omen is the, like, big plot point. There's so much speculation, so much rumor around Dante getting new models, you know, Azrael getting new models. Let's see the stories around these characters and why they're choosing to go Primaris, you know, or a potential of the Lion return. Could we actually get something? No, there's no way that they're going to do anything with the Lion or touch that this early on. That's probably going to be done way down the line once he eventually gets his model in Warhammer 40,000. Also with 40k, I actually do think we may get a Yarrick book. Remember what's gone on with Yarrick, all the fate, everything that's just happened with Yarrick. Yes, he has died. They confirmed it in the codex, and they kind of like not confirmed it on the website. Is he really dead? Who really knows? We all know he's dead, but we want a story. We want to find out what happened to Yarrick. So maybe they'll actually do a book about that, about maybe his final stand, his battles on Armageddon, his last battle on Armageddon, his last command on Armageddon, a proper send-off for one true, absolute hero of the Imperium. Now, don't forget, we actually do get models at these events. It's not just books. Last time, we got Fafnir and we got Zaphon the Blood Angel, and of course, Fafnir, the legendary Blood Angel? A legendary Imperial Fist. I'm sorry, Fafnir, you are not a Blood Angel. You're way too cool to be a Blood Angel. So I definitely do think that this year, they will carry on that trend, and we will get more characters. Where do we go when it comes to these characters of here? Me, personally, I would love to see Camba Diaz. I'm a huge Camba Diaz fan. If you've read his storyline, The Siege of Terror, you'll know how epic that character is. But I think they may actually do it more 40,000 related. I think, and a lot of people have been saying this in my live streams and stuff like that, a Caphias Kane and Jurgen model. How beautiful would that be? Especially around all this goddamn hype now of like the Guard releasing and stuff like that. I think that could be absolutely bloody incredible to get those characters in proper model format, because, you know, one's a hero of the Imperium and the other one actually is a hero of the Imperium. And lastly, just before we end the video, I want to address the Blockbuster announcement. Now, this is not me clickbaiting you, hooking you in, as you normally say, clickbait rack. This is what Games Workshop are actually saying over on their article. There's a Blockbuster announcement. And I think, right, when I think Blockbuster, I don't know about you, I think movies. I think like TV shows, stuff like that. So maybe we'll get some trailers for some upcoming stuff that's going to be happening with Warhammer Plus. Now, for me, and probably for you, I'm wondering what the hell is happening with Astartes. Astartes is not only one of the most incredible fan-made 40k things that's ever been made, it is probably the most incredible fan-made production ever made. That's taken out your Star Wars and all your other genres. Again, I may be biased when I come to say that, but for me, it was just well, it was perfect for me. It was absolutely fantastic. And then, we were supposed to be getting season 2. And then, it went over to Games Workshop, and it's just been radio silence from then on. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we actually hear some information about it. I absolutely cannot understand why Games Workshop is not promoting this, hyping this series up more. Like, if you want to go and watch a Starters, the only place to go and watch it is over on Warhammer Community for free. You can watch it on Warhammer Plus. Like, why haven't they re-uploaded it in 4K on their YouTube channel? I've done a massive rant about this before. I cannot understand it. One of the great things about Astartes was the interaction it had within the wider community. It brought so many people into the Warhammer IP who absolutely didn't know what Warhammer was. That was amazing. Like, if you went through like the original comments on like the episodes, there were so many people saying, "Hey, what's this? What are these?" And then someone was trying to explain a Space Marine. I popped in, like, "Yo, you screw Space Marines. What about Primarchs?" And there's a big argument and stuff like that. It was amazing, right? It was fantastic, and we don't get to have that anymore. And I can't understand it, because Games Workshop are showing it off for free. So why are they not putting it on YouTube to get that interaction out there again? Unless something's happened. That's the only thing I'm thinking of. Maybe something's happened and they just want the Astartes hype to die down because they just want it to disappear. Hopefully I'm completely wrong and we get some big animation announcements that really bring us back in. Because Games Workshop was selling, Warhammer Plus to be this, the animations and stuff like that. And, I'll give credit where credit's due. There has been some animations that they've done, which I've absolutely loved. Like the Angels of Death, yes, it did have some problems in there. But overall, I absolutely loved it. Some of the Hammer and Bolter stuff, I absolutely love. Some episodes not, But, what is going on? We need more. Remember that big announcement show they had where they was like, this is coming, that's coming, this is coming. And we haven't really had like any of that. We've had like 1 or 2 of them. That's about it. So fingers crossed. My fingers have been crossed this whole time. Fingers crossed that we do get some of these blockbuster announcements, and it is actually big time during this reveal event. If you want to come and watch this reveal event, of course, I'm going to be live streaming it. I'll put the image up right now over my face about what time it's going to be starting where you are in the world. Also, if you join me, I'm going to be giving away Christmas box sets. Yes, you heard that right. Christmas box sets. Just being in the stream and being a member of the stream, you can win yourself a nice fancy bit of DACA. Anyway, that's enough waffling from me. As always, if you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down in the comment section below, and we'll have a nice little talk down there as we always do. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.